Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. Tonight I'm going to talk about black dysfunction on social media. Black dysfunction on social media. Now, there are a number of programs and social media outlets that depict we as African Americans as being savages. Now, is that true? No, but when it comes to other races of people who view our behavior, they get that perception of us based on how we are behaving. Now, there's a site out there called World Star Hip Hop, and also Beastie is another site. Now, these videos get fed to Brother Tommy Sotomayor and other YouTubers from these sites. Now, the problem I have with these sites is these sites also play into the marketing of the mainstream media when it comes to black dysfunctional behavior. And the worst thing that you could do as a black person is sit up there with your phone and take a picture of this dysfunction and post it on sites such as Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and other social media sites. We already have to go through the mainstream media, i.e. daytime talk, and 22 years ago, daytime talk, about how we as black men were perceived by the Caucasian media then. And you look at it now. We're being depicted as savages as well. Now, my question is, how can we stop this? Well, this is just a theory. It's not going to happen. Black folk and social media, I will tell you this, we just don't mix. The best thing for us to do is get off social media. Because all we're doing on social media is making ourselves look like fools. If you look on YouTube, you look at all the back and forth known as beefing that we do with each other. You look at all the so-called gender wars that are taking place. And if you look at our sector as a whole, we do look like savages. And this is what people gather when they view our content. And it doesn't matter if you're an educated black or a non-educated black. We're all looked at as the same type of savages. Now, I will say this. I am not putting all the fault on social media because, of course, there are white folk out there who act a fool on social media as well. But do you think white people are going to depict their own white people on social media? Maybe, maybe not. I don't go into their sector because I care about what's going on with us. But one thing that I can tell you as an African American is we black people have our priorities upside down. Now, this is the cause of not having basic structure known as family. And I'm talking about the traditional family, where you have a leading man, not a simple man, a man that wants to get his hands dirty to actually produce for his family. Right now, we just have everything out of place, and a number of the children who were born to African Americans, and I'm just going to be truthful about this, were not even planned. I believe that individuals who had all these children were probably at the club, or they were fooling around, or they were being very reckless with sex, and they didn't realize the consequences of what happens when you have sex until it's too late. But we've always been told, for the most part, about the birds and the bees who do the wrong thing in the trees. But when it comes to social media, we make ourselves look dysfunctional by participating in the behaviors that take place. Now, again, social media should be used as a tool to network. You can meet people on social media, but another aspect that produces this black dysfunctionality on social media is the entertainment part of it. We use our dysfunction as entertainment, and we love drama. That's the problem with African American folks. That's why we are at the bottom, and we're always going to be at the bottom. And when we talk about slavery, the slavery that I'm looking at is all in the mind. We don't know what it is to be free. Why? Because we've always had somebody telling us what to do, and we still believe that we should have a leader telling us what to do instead of solving our own problems. We will never become a complete race unless we understand what's going on around us. Now, with this social media, we just have made it worse for us because we're not the only ones who see this dysfunction. Again, a lot of people see this dysfunction. And the worst thing you could do is post this dysfunction on sites like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Because if you're going out to apply for a job, some of these employers will look at your Facebook page and they will see what types of content you have on your Facebook page. Brothers and sisters, what we have to do as people, we have to come to realization about ourselves that a number of us have mental disorders. We have to stop lying to ourselves saying that we don't need help. And there are a number of us who have a lot of problems that are going on in the real world, and they get on social media and they vent it so everybody could see it. And this is where you get all the conflict amongst black YouTubers. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I mean, there's something out now saying that there could be a possible gender war. That gender war is going to do nothing but produce more and more drama. And when it comes to African American people, I believe that a number of us love drama, or a number of us don't know anything but drama. But when it comes to putting your information out on social media, which is dysfunctional, this is where we get looked at as being bad people. Now, what I don't like, particularly when I see videos coming from World Star Hip Hop, you're a man and you see women fighting. Instead of laughing or yucking it up and recording it, why don't you go in there and break it up? If you see somebody that's doing something to your black woman, have the balls enough to step in. I actually saw a video where black woman was wearing the crazy weave. I mean, she had blue, green, and some other color. And this white man ripped the weave out of her head, and when he was running around some room with her weave in his head, and he was laughing. And what did the black men do? They did nothing. Now, if that was me, I'd have gone upside that white man's head with no problem. Because if I was to do something to a white woman, that white man would definitely want to come in and say, let's hem that nigger up. Because that's what they do. And this video that I saw, again, was posted on social media. And what did the black men do? They sat there and they recorded it. Black people, I'm just going to tell you this. The worst thing that could happen to us has been social media. We just don't know how to handle ourselves on social media. Certainly, we have a number of YouTubers who speak on the issues, but the deep issues I don't hear anybody speaking about but me when it comes to these disorders. And one disorder that a number of us have as African American people, and it's both black men and black women. I believe both of us have Stockholm Syndrome. I don't care what anybody says. You hear the word swirling going around, but there are a number of black men, just as well as black women, who love white people. I don't hate white people, but I'm not going to put them on a pedestal. And they're not going to be my first choice. And I don't envy them like some of these so-called black men and black women swirlers do. Now, all this swirling basically came from what? Social media. There are a number of sites to where black men and black women are putting each other down, but building up this Caucasian person to make themselves feel good. And let me tell you, when you do that on social media, you put us in a very, very bad situation to where the good black men and black women, we won't be able to say anything to you because the loudest and the most boisterous, they're going to try to utilize name calling, and they're going to put our information out on social media, and they're going to go to their other friends and talk badly about good black people because the good black people told the small minority of the boisterous or the loud black people how they really feel. And when it comes to social media, certainly has it given us a place to speak as African American people, particularly African American men, because men did not have a platform back in the 1990s to speak, only the women did. And there were a number of women back in the 90s on shows such as Ricky Lay, Richard Bay, Jerry Springer, Montel Williams, Oprah, Rolanda Watts, Sally Jesse, Raphael, Queen Latifah, Tempest Bledsoe, you name it, the list goes on. And don't forget Maury Povich as well. And also Bill Cunningham. He wasn't back there, but he also has that black dysfunction. Now, television is not social media, but television is where everything started about us as black people. And besides the old Cosby shows, there really hasn't been any shows that I can see that have anything positive about African American people. I'm talking about a father in the house, well-behaved kids, a woman who respects herself, and a unified community. Now, I'm certain there's something out there, but I haven't seen it. And social media really tears black folk apart. I mean, there are a number of black men and black women who are getting on Instagram. Now, I don't have an Instagram account, and I will never get one, but from what I've heard from other people, some of those pictures up there are atrocious. And social media has allowed the undesirables to be desired. Why? Because there's one group of men that's getting bigger in the black community, and that's known as the simps. You also have the fake pro-blacks who talk about black issues, but they're dating somebody white. You also have women who are doing the same thing. social media has allowed a number of us to live in this fantasy land. Listen, I believe in the real world. And what you should understand is when you put any information about yourself on social media, people do look at it. I actually had some old co-workers from PennDOT who have seen my videos, and I forgot who they were until they had written me and said, "Hey, Leon, I saw your YouTube channel." But see, on my YouTube channel, I don't produce that content that is dysfunctional. What I'm doing on my channel is making everybody aware of what's going on around them, because many of us in the African American community have not had any guidance, especially these younger millennials. And it's my job to convey the message that's very positive. Yes, you give them what's real out there, but you tell them how to fix it. And if I can get one person to actually listen and make themselves better, then that's one person better than what was prescribed before. But social media, black folk, is not making us look good. It's just as bad as the type of music we're listening to, the type of clothes we're wearing, the type of disrespect that we have for each other. I mean, the behaviors when it comes to customer service, and I've experienced some customer service that was inappropriate by my own black people. Now, it wasn't put on social media, but I've seen some bad customer service that was put on social media. When you have individuals over a chicken McNugget going through a drive-through and they're ready to get out and fight the manager and they're pulling guns out on each other, what does that look like? And these are women doing that. And a race cannot rise any higher than the morality of its women. And with no men in the house in the black community, the women are running rampant. Now, is it the women's fault? I do not blame the millennials for any of this, because the millennials were born in an era where divorce has been acceptable, homosexuality has been more acceptable. The Christian church, which used to be good, well, that's also full of dysfunction. I mean, a lot of these preachers that you have, and I'm going to call them out, they're fake. You know, you have preachers having sex with the grandmother, the child, and even boys. Now, the Bible does say something about false prophets. Now, I have to do another video on that, and this is why I don't attend church and why I will never go back. Because in our community, churches are monuments of failure. The church really prescribes to one type of person, and that's the women, because the women make up the bulk of the money. They fill the pews. But when it comes to the social media, what black people got to do is give themselves a rest. I just believe that we're on it too much, and the more that we utilize it, the more we cause harm to ourselves. I mean, I've seen pictures on Facebook Live where murders have taken place. There was a woman who was giving her 4-year-old son oral sex. Now, if you don't tell me that's a sick behavior, then something is wrong with you. And then a number of us have disorders like bipolarism, histrionic personality disorders. A number of us are sociopaths. We have a lot of egotism, self-hate. We also have insecurity issues, sexual deviancy issues, you name it. It's all over the black community. But we don't want to address it because we believe that any type of issue can be swept under the rug, or it's a white issue. The bottom line is, all we're doing is lying to ourselves. If we get on social media thinking that we're going to be the next YouTube star, some people may, but most of us won't. It doesn't happen that way. Everybody does not have the talent to be a YouTuber. Everybody does not have the talent to be the next Instagram model. But the problem with us is we let our egos, we use our bodies to try to get attention. We don't even know how to communicate with each other on YouTube. This is why we have all the beefs. And I'm talking about black men versus black men. If you look at that video I did, black man versus black man, you can see what I'm talking about. This is why we can't be leaders, because a number of us are too dysfunctional. Many of us need to take our medication and seek help from a counselor. And with the black women, a number of them live in fantasy land too. You know, they love to throw their education around, but that doesn't mean anything. When you're in the real world, you have to understand how the real world works. And many of us as black people, we love to get attention from being on social media. And if you look at YouTube, you have a number of women who get a lot of subscribers. Well, do you know who's subscribing to most of these women on YouTube? It's men. Now, men, from my belief, they don't hear the message that women are speaking. What they're looking at is her, and in his mind, he wants to have sex with this person. He's enamored by her beauty. And this is why you see a lot of women YouTubers with a lot of subscribers, because a number of them really don't have the talent. I've seen them. They turn on the camera and they talk about the same thing over and over and over again, and it's basically drama. Now, the brothers, yes, here on YouTube we have to work a little harder, but the brothers don't even support one another. I mean, small channels like mine that actually put out good content are rarely seen, and it doesn't mean that I don't have the talent. It just means that the content that I'm producing, because black people are so into drama and negativity, what I produce is not going to get out to a lot of African American people, and I know that. But when we learn to utilize a platform that's not ours, like a YouTube, a Facebook, an Instagram, and a Twitter, then we can go ahead and start our own platform. But until then, we're not ready to do anything as African Americans, because too many of us, again, have a number of disorders, and we don't want to talk about our disorders. We keep sweeping them under the rug, saying that everything, when it comes to disorders, is white people's issues. No, we bleed just like white people do. The difference between us and white people, they get help. Now, of course, black people don't have the resources that white people do, but there are ways we can get help. In our community, we're not into education. That's a problem right there. We're not into building strong families. We're not into building businesses. We're into buying from other people. And that's why integration was a bad idea. See, when we have to do something for ourselves without the benefit of a leader, we will do it. And it's been proven. We've had 2 Black Wall Streets, one in Durham, North Carolina, which not too many people talk about, but that was the first Black Wall Street. And then we had the second Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But the bottom line, we have a platform that we can speak out on our issues, but what we're doing, we're destroying our own selves by putting deviant behavior on platforms like a YouTube, a Facebook, an Instagram, and we've already been told that we are the laughing stock without social media. Now look at social media and what it's done to us. It's made it even worse for us. And the funny thing about it is, we as black people, we accept being dysfunctional. A number of us really don't care. And if you speak out about it, then you're called a coon. The real coons are the ones who have these deviant behavior issues or psychological behavior issues because they're in denial. They're delusional. And part of delusion is the lie. And that's what a number of us have been living. And until we understand what social media is supposed to be used for, a number of us are going to continue to go out there, see this dysfunction taking place. We're going to have our phones. We're going to be laughing. We're going to be joking. It's only going to be till the person who is recording the information becomes a fatality, that then we might straighten our act up. Or if you have a gang of cops that come around while we're recording this black behavior and they knock us all over the head with the butt of their guns or a billy club and we're lying in some jail cell, only then we may come to our senses. But right now, I don't believe we're going to come to our senses. It's gotten that bad, and it is going to get worse. And it's going to get worse because, number one, if you're going to change something, you have to change the mindset. And with social media, you already have a number of undesirables on these platforms in the first place. And with the millennials having children, oh, it's going to be worse. Because remember something, when you have children, they're a direct reflection of your parents. And a number of us have to understand that. If you come from dysfunction, trust me, you're going to produce dysfunction because you're going to be lackluster or irresponsible with sex. But when it comes to this social media should be used as a network tool. And that network tool should be to convey information. And that's what YouTube is supposed to be used for. And I'm not saying that social media in the black community, all of us are like that, because you do have a number of us who are trying to convey a positive message. But we have too many people out there who continually want to be dysfunctional. They want to live in victimhood. Until we get those people's minds right, we're always going to be at the bottom of everything. Whether it's socially, politically, and economically. So the only thing I can say for black people and social media is that we're going to have to grow out of it. And I'm talking about the behavior, or we're going to have to separate ourselves from the black people who don't want anything in life. They're happy with where they are. Because a true community that is going to be built is going to be of like-minded people who are positive, who are educated. And education just doesn't mean in school. Education also has to do with understanding roles, structure, having common sense. and having faith. But at the end of the day, what I see out here is demonic. And it's going to keep being that way. Why? Because you have a number of people that will not listen. And a hard head makes a soft behind. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show for this evening, Friday, May 18th, 2018. You can tune in to the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest calling number is 215-383-5785. I've been busy. That's why I haven't done the radio show, but I will get it back up and I will have some interesting topics. But on that note, if you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now on this channel, I do not debate. I don't do controversial or emotional issues. What I am is a self-awareness and educational channel. So this is why I don't participate in drama and or unnecessary bickering, because it is counterproductive. The information that I am presenting is researched, and I'm also utilizing my own personal experiences, because when you deliver a message, you can be candid about what you're delivering, but you must be positive but honest with the information that you're conveying, so the people who are receiving your information can absorb what you are delivering them. So on this channel, I give you insight on how the real world works. And when you have knowledge, you have power. And if you have a topic or a new YouTube channel or business that you would like for me to discuss on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, please leave your comment in the comment section under the video. But make sure that your comments are pithy. No bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering if you wish to opine. And that's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other, and have a wonderful and blessed evening. God bless you, and good night.